Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the reality recap. Are y'all as tired as I am? And I don't even say that because I've been traveling all week. I mean, this season has been so exhausting. Oh my gosh, the twists and turns. And it's not even because of production. It's because of this cast. My goodness, the online drama, the drama in the villa. It's been so much, but we are finally at the end. I have so many thoughts. It's already happening. I was going to say, I don't know if I'll be able to form proper sentences because my mind is just thinking about so much at once, but let me just collect myself. Okay. Before we get into it, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. You guys know the things that I love for you guys to do over here. It's been a good season with a lot of conversation, and I loved being able to hear your guys' opinions, to hear your guys' voices. Some people actually did take one of the subscribers up on the hey, hit me up if you're like Amaya thing. I said, wow, this is so cute. My heart, love can germinate from anywhere. You never know. But anyways, not this season though, apparently. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Reality Recap Pod. And of course, on all podcast streaming platforms, we are available over there. So I just want to wrap up your guys' thoughts from the week that we had before the finale. And then I'm going to talk about the finale and maybe my thoughts on what happened to events leading up to the finale. So I'm going to read 2 DMs and give you guys a voice note. Let's do that. So here we have a message that says, girl, I just finished episode 31. Is it just me or are all the guys so amazing all of a sudden? Pepe was so sweet asking for kisses. Ace had me smiling over the s'mores date. Nick seems so interested in Alandra, which she's been waiting for. And I'm still not over Bryan telling Amaya that all the cons are pros for him. Ace has been taking me on a roller coaster, but I like him again. Amaya is so adorable, calling all her clothes granny. And Bryan coming out with just his boxers and whipped cream was so funny. They are my favorite couple by far. So I think the week started with Amaya and Bryan going into the hideaway. Baby, anytime Amaya and Bryan are on my screen, I'm just like, wow. I feel seen with Amaya's granny pajamas, her little moo-moo. I got about 3 or 4, maybe 5. Don't tell nobody. But seeing that connection blossom has been sweet to see. I'm not gonna lie, near the end, I did question Bryan a little bit. There's just certain things that he had been saying that makes me feel like he's a little bit more calculated than I initially thought. But all in all, the way that he has handled Amaya, I don't even want to say the word handled. The way that he has shown up for Amaya has just been amazing. I had been waiting for a guy to do that for her. She came in hot and heavy. She got a lot of flack because of Huda. And then she didn't have the greatest relationship with Ace. And then it happened again with Austin. And then it happened again with, what was his name? The guy from Thailand. Oh my gosh. The guy from Big Brother UK. What was his name? Forgettable. That guy too. It was just person after person after person just giving her the business. And so to finally get with somebody who was like, all that you are is all that I want. And I'm willing to show you that. I'm going to show up for you in the way that you need. I want us to pursue something on the outside. Oh, so beautiful. I loved it. Like you're saying, I do think that there was a tone shift. I think after the heart rate challenge, Stand on Business. After Stand on Business, there was definitely a tone shift. Maybe the challenge where they got to see what America thought of them was a little bit humbling for a lot of people. They realized, maybe my game playing is not being perceived well. Maybe I'm not being seen as genuine. Maybe whatever. We just don't know. And it's interesting too, because I feel like that isn't the worst production could have done. I think even last season when they had the Twitter challenge exposing things that people were actually writing about each castmate would have been more humbling. But this season definitely had that wake up call after that challenge. And I think that a lot of their behavior had changed. I think in general, though, a lot of the men had been quite gentlemanly. And as much as I question Ace's intentions, he had been showing up for Shelly in terms of wooing her more than any other guy in the villa. I haven't seen any guy create dates and create experiences for their person in the way that Ace did for Shelly. And then she return the favor. The s'mores day that you're talking about, Shelly did orchestrate that, and he said it made him feel like a child again. And I loved seeing Ace just like tap into that side of him. It humanized him for me. Not that I was dehumanizing him at all, but it just like I was softening up to him in the latter days for sure. Yeah. The guys did a bit of a turnaround for me, I'll be honest. Let me read the next DM. This one says, "Hi Queen, I've been following your other account on YouTube and have been watching you since last year's Love Island. Literally, I love to see your reviews after the show. And that's so exciting that you made a podcast. Welcome to the Unwell family, guys. Also, wait. Oh no, sorry. I am DMing because you told me to DM you if you were interested in the guy who, wanted an Amaya. I have understood her as an emotional girl myself. I cried when she was chosen. I cried when she was up on the podium. I'm someone who can't hide behind my emotions and think it's my strength. I also am a very big lover girl who wears my heart on my sleeve, and I figured why not reach out. Sorry, this is a little long. Anyways, I love both channels and only wish you the best." First of all, shout out for you following me on both. You a real one. You a real one. Also, DM me personally and I'll send you over his Instagram. Guys, 4 people already DM'd me. One person, it didn't work out because of religious reasons, and I haven't heard an update on the other people. But like, how cute. Guys, if love can come out of this podcast, we won. Who cares who won the show? We won as a community. How great. I love it. And then I'm going to play this voice note and then share my thoughts.
You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that Clark and Taylor would be the most romantic couple on this season? I am deceased. Actually, do you know what? Oh my God! Like, unfortunately, of course, like Taylor and Clark were dumped this episode, but oh my God. I actually feel so bad now, but like it's just the way Taylor acted in the beginning. That's what I'm still like. Obviously, me, I forgive, I never forget. But honestly, it's just this is so cute. Like I'm watching how he asked her to be exclusive with him, and it's actually so cute. He planned it unprovoked. Oh my God, wow! Like I am gagged. I am so gagged. Wow.
I actually didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, wait, most romantic. I hadn't listened or read any of these DMs. I just saved them from the person who sent them to me. But yeah, I don't know if I would say that they're the most romantic in my personal opinion, but I do believe their connection wholeheartedly. Whether or not Clark is going to be able to deal with the country live in, we'll see. But in terms of the connection that they built on the show, 100% believe it. 100%. I loved that, number one, like you said, Taylor did not have to be coaxed into planning something for Clark, and he did something that was just them. She used to do cheer, so he planned a cheer. He got all the guys involved. They spelled out her name. He was like, "Will you be exclusive with me?" It was cute. I loved it. Producers were so shady for putting Alandria dead smack in the middle while they were doing this exclusive proposal thing. But honestly, at the end of the day, I loved how sweet that moment was. You could tell Clark was so appreciative. Of course, she said yes. Unfortunately, at the end of that episode, they did get dumped. But isn't it ironic? How this season was all about explore. Don't, throw all your eggs in one basket. Don't get attached to somebody too much. And whenever somebody was getting attached, they would get dumped because the Islanders are like, "Oh, well, you've experienced Love Island, so you can go now." Whenever anybody got exclusive at the end here, well, except the people who won the show, they were dumped by the public. So Taylor and Clark, they got the lowest votes. They were dumped. Ace and Shelly, they got the lowest votes. They were dumped after he also made things exclusive. And then, Sierra's is kind of like a not exactly, but after they were closed off, she got plucked from the show because of using a racial slur or derogatory slur on her social media multiple times. So I actually haven't talked about that on this platform, but let me just talk about it quickly. She has since responded. I haven't thoroughly watched the response, but I do feel like the part that I did see, she did seem sincere. Basically, she used the C slur. You can educate yourself on what that is. And it is a slur that is associated with the Asian community. And basically, what she was saying was that she didn't realize the gravity of the word. I did hear some people talk about it, and they were saying that as an older generation, I mean, I'm not too much older than them, but I am older than most of the people on the show. As an older generation, we did grow up with a time where it was known as a word to use and then a word not to use. And then I think that it just wasn't used since then, at least not commonly, definitely not in the circles that I'm in, right? And so for this new generation, I think it wasn't, I can't even say, I think it all just depends on environment though, because I've spoken to some people who genuinely didn't know that it was a slur. I've spoken to some people who said they just knew it was a word we didn't say, but they didn't know that it was a slur as well. I was going to say that the person's perspective was basically saying that this newer generation, this younger generation, I'm acting like I'm 57 or something. This younger generation might not know the gravity of the word because it had been obsolete for so long. That could be a theory. And so I was listening to that person and I was like, okay. My personal thoughts on the situation are just, if we are going to have a rule, let that rule apply to everybody. So regarding Alyssa being plucked from the show for using the N word, the same should be applied to Sierra. And if we're really going to be honest, the same should be applied for Huda, also Austin, and allegedly Nick. I haven't seen the Nick stuff. I also haven't seen the Austin stuff, but I've definitely seen Huda, Yalissa, and Sierra. We are, having this debate on like what's right, what's wrong, what's whatever. The point of the matter is there is a rule in place. And if you are going to establish that rule, it should not matter who it is applying to. It should not matter how long in the process it is going to be applied. The rule should apply to everybody. That is my thought. So yeah, it is unfortunate that Sierra didn't get to finish out her time on the show, but this is a learning experience, not only for her, but for a lot of people who were ignorant to the gravity of the word. Also, with that being said, I don't know how many times we have to talk about internet activity and how dangerous it is to say very vile, threatening things. In the same way that we don't want people to say derogatory terms towards a certain group of people or to an individual, to anybody at all. We also don't want to attack hate with hate. So the people who are then doing the death threats and all that stuff, and this has been before even Sierra's situation, whenever somebody doesn't like someone on these reality shows, it turns so volatile for one reason or another. And it's just not good. It's not safe. It just blows my mind that it gets to that extent anyways. But yeah, I definitely don't think that Sierra deserves any of the hate speech that people have been throwing at her, in the same way that she shouldn't have been using the word. And now she is well aware that word should be erased from her vocabulary. Anyways, I was saying it's ironic how the people who have decided to close things off are the people who didn't even get to see their relationship through to the finale. Hey, it is what it is. Y'all put the rules in place. We were just following them. So the episode goes on to, the week went on to the whole baby challenge thing. Honestly, the baby challenge doesn't really ever do it for me, but we got to see the rift really get bigger and bigger between Huda and Chris. Basically, she didn't like the way that he was parenting their child. And he's like, bro, this is a game. I understand that you were a mom in real life, but this is a game. We are playing a game. And so they had just been saying things back and forth to each other. He said, shut up to her. She didn't appreciate that. He doesn't like that whenever he tries to air things out, she cuts him off. And then he wanted to kiss her at one point, and then she was looking around the villa to see who was watching. And he was like, I feel like you're embarrassed of me. Her explanation is that, I don't really know if I buy her explanation. Basically, because she was full on before and people criticize her, she doesn't want to do that again. But for me, wouldn't the remedy then be to take things slower? Not to mask things, because they've already done the nasty. I would think that the solution would be, let me take my time, not let me hide the fact that I am still going just as fast. Whatever. So they had their family meetings. We had Shelly's parents and Ace's siblings. This was another moment that I loved to see from Ace. He looked like a big kid. That's not me even making a joke. He literally looked like, it looked like his inner child was on display, right? And we got to see how he relates with his siblings, how they just fully support him. Shelly's mom was very complimentary of the way that he has handled conflict in the villa. And I will give Ace that prop. He did not get loud with anybody. There were times where he said some slick things, but he didn't get loud and he didn't get super disrespectful. He might be cold and distant, but disrespectful and loud, Ace never did that from my recollection. We also hear from his mom, who is so proud of him. She sent a voice note and he got emotional. And I just really like to see that. I like to see all the guys get a bit emotional. We saw Chris just melt into his mother's arms. We saw Bryan get emotional when his best friend and dad were there. And then also when he heard from his mom. It was just, I don't know, men who are able to be in touch with their emotions within reason. And that goes for anybody, not just men. It just warms my heart, you know? So then we also saw Iris and Pepe's family. To be honest, I don't really think we got much from that. It was just like, hey, love your time on the show. There's really not much that they could say about their relationship. Chris was dreading his mother and sister coming on the show because typically they are very critical. And he, let's be honest, he didn't have the faith in the relationship to where the parents or his mom and sister wouldn't say something that would deter him from his connection. Now, they were on their P's and Q's. They were so complimentary. Oh, no, we understand, Huda. We've been there before. She's a single mom. We get it. Y'all were just trying to save Chris's place in the villa. Okay, because come on. Not a single ounce of critique came from them with how concerned Chris was. Be so for real. I don't buy his family's reaction whatsoever, but good on you for trying to secure your brother's spot in the finale. Then we have Huda's sisters. They support her journey. We got to hear from Huda's daughter. She's doing well. Huda's sisters were basically like, you have grown so much and it's good that you are learning that you don't always need to give a response. Sometimes you just need to shut up and listen. I think that it's still going to take some more time for that to really resonate with Huda, but it's good that she has had like a crash course in how to handle conflict while being on the show. And then last was Nicolandria's, sorry, not me calling them as if they're one person. Nick and Alandria's family were just so happy to see that they have finally made something happen between them. Alandria's mom, that is her twin, mannerisms, tonation, like demeanor, you could tell that they are two peas in a pod. I love it. Alandria was like, well, I wanted to eat down. And mom was like, oh, you ate, mama. You ate. Like, it was so cute. I loved it. She was supporting the Nicolandria of it all. Nick's mom, as we know, has been number one supporter from the beginning. So I'm sure she was living her best life, finally seeing them come together. It was interesting because they touched on Sierra like a smidge. And basically the mom was like, really? You're having sex on TV? And he's like, listen, we've moved on for that. We moved on from that. And I was thinking, are we moving on from the fact that you had sex on television or from the Sierra of it all? Because I'm so sorry. I don't want to fully buy into the Nicolandria until we won. Well, actually, I don't know if we'd be privy to this, but we see that things are truly done between Nick and Sierra, and I see longevity between the two of them. They might decide to be a private couple. That's up to them. He might decide to reconcile with Sierra. We may never know. We might know by the reunion. We just don't know, right? But if I were to really buy into it, those are the things that I would need to see before I'm fully on board. But anyways, the mom was inviting Alandria over for dinner. She was like, what can I make for dinner? You know, I'll have the table ready for you. I loved how they embraced her. It was really sweet to see. It's also been sweet to see Alandria soften up a bit more with Nick, because it felt for me that Nick was doing a lot of the affirming, a lot of the, you know, physical affection. He was leading in that sense. And so to see her, you know, let her guard down a bit more with him, to be appreciative of the support from family and friends and the public, and to see that they've been kissing. And there's times where we don't even see them actually kiss, but we see them in a confessional and Nick has some makeup on his face. We know what y'all be doing. It's really nice. It's cute. So let's fast forward to, I think that was the same episode. Yeah, the same episode. Ace and Shelly came off of them becoming exclusive. They got sent to the hideaway. Iris said that she wished it was her. Iris, respectfully, no. No. Number one, you ain't been here long enough. And I know Amaya just got it, but like, girl, mm-mm. And number two, clearly you don't need it. Y'all are doing just fine without the hideaway. Ace and Shelly went to the hideaway and he decided to like write in the sand A+C, and then he asked her to be exclusive. He wrote a poem and everything. I was like, this is the Ace that I wanted to see throughout the season. I didn't like the whole, I'm just going to string Shelly along, but also keep all of my options open. Like, for what? He knew coming in, he wanted Shelly. Whether or not he knew she was going to be there is a discourse I don't want to get into. But once he saw that she was there, he wanted her. Whatever. It's already passed. They're exclusive. They left hand in hand because they got the lowest votes. They feel like they have won anyways. And I think on After Sun, they were endorsing Amaya and Bryan for the win. I don't buy that, but at least they're on the right side of history. Now we are on the finale. We get to see final dates. The first date was between Nick and Olandria. Well, the episode even started with Nick and Olandria, and they were kissing on the couches. And I like to see them do the PDA like outside. Because for me, that just shows how comfortable you are. Like, yes, in the bed is one thing and the speakeasy is one thing. But like in the couches in front of everybody where you're just like, whatever, it's my man. I'm going to kiss him if I want to. Oh, I loved it. So they go on a date and they are seeing all these messages in the bottle, basically from fans talking about how they have loved their connection blossom. They also talk about being in love previously. And Olandria does admit that she tends to fall for potential. And I feel like really when I think about dating, especially in the Black community, I don't think a lot of women have been taught to date properly. Like, we know what we want things to look like, but I think it's hard to sometimes see the signs to show you if that person really is who you think they are in your mind. And it seems like that's the case with Olandria. She's been single for 5 years. She thought she was finally getting it right with Taylor, and that turned out not to be the case. I wonder, like, what is it going to take for us to, like, finally... Well, I think removing the stigma of dating in Black communities more specifically is what I'm talking about, but I'm sure this is prevalent in a lot of different households where you're just expected to be single, focus on your studies, focus on whatever, and then boom, married with kids. I don't know how they expect that transition to happen if they don't facilitate that kind of environment. I mean, for me in my household, I know that we didn't really talk about dating and relationships. I just knew that there was an unspoken rule that I need to be focusing on my school until I graduate. And yeah, I more so got pressure from outside people. I never got pressure from my parents to like get married and have kids. Even right now, they don't say that I have to like hurry up and get married with the person that I'm dating. It's whatever. But there is this societal pressure or cultural pressure all of a sudden, but you're like, I never learned how to date. I never learned how to explore. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of people, and especially somebody like Olandria. So yeah, I'm glad that she's with somebody who is so affirming, who is so affectionate. Even if things don't work out between the two of them, I hope that she learns from this and she sees the difference between her connection with Taylor and her connection with Nick, and that Nick gave her more of what she should be looking for going forward. The next date is between Iris and Pepe. They go on a boat and he has a boat. So this was kind of like what their life could be like on the outside. We learned that they actually don't live too far from each other, so they wouldn't be doing long distance if they were to pursue things. Is he over Hannah now? Is he over Hannah or what? Because this girl is like, oh yeah, Pepe is my best friend and I'm so happy. Does Pepe know that he's your best friend? Is Pepe aware? I don't know. I think that Iris is getting very attached to him. They have been, bumping in the night. And it seems like TJ is no longer on her mind. But sometimes I wonder if Pepe is inclined, or Pepe would be inclined to pursue things on the outside with Hannah if given the opportunity. Just because even with Grayson in Casa Amor, he was like, I don't want to Andreina came and he was like, oh, I don't want to open up another connection. But also with Grayson, he couldn't fully engage with her because of Hannah. And then Iris just like popped up out of nowhere. So we'll see with those two. The next date was, I think, Chris and Huda. So before the date even happened, Chris and Huda have been getting on each other's nerves. That has been very evident for the past like 2 weeks, right? Actually, now that I think about it, basically from the time that Chris came in to the main villa, he's been having things that like irritate him about Huda. But this is the same man who said, oh, I attract emotionally unstable women. I don't know if I could have much sympathy for him, to be honest with you. But from that heart rate challenge, he was looking at her crazy. From then, he always gives her like a side eye, or like he huffs and he puffs sometimes. And I get it. There's some things that Huda does that's like irritating, but also this is the fate that you chose. So like suck it up or move on. Like, I don't know. I don't really have much sympathy when it comes to Chris, if I'm being honest. But anyways, they are dreading this date because the night prior, Huda wanted to cuddle with Chris. Chris did not want to cuddle. He basically was like, listen, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to do this. Why does this girl start counting? You know, when you talk to a child and you're like, 1, because you know, once you get to 3, they're probably going to go to timeout or they're going to get their privileges revoked or whatever. You're saying this to a grown man in bed for him to cuddle you? You're counting to 3? And if you get to 3, then what? That's what my response would have been if I was Chris. We're in the bed. I don't want to cuddle you because I'm tired. Once you get to 3, what are you going to do? Girl. So anyways, in the next scene that we see of them, he is talking to Bryan and he's basically like, yo, I don't even know what to do going forward. Like, I like the girl. I want to pursue something on the outside, but she does a lot of things that piss me off. You should have been more vocal, Chris. Like, you're a big man. Nobody's, you know, you're not under duress. You're not, you know, if you are going to be in a healthy relationship, you're going to have to be able to communicate with your partner. And Chris, on many occasions, had the opportunity to express himself and he did it. Now things are boiling over and he doesn't know how to handle it. We have Huda, who's like, I'm trying to do things differently. It's not working out. Like, what am I supposed to do? Amaya gives her the advice to just air her grievances one more time. And then if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. Bryan gives Chris the advice to just say, push through. I didn't like that. I did not like that at all. What is pushing through going to do? Pushing through is why they're in the situation in the first place. But anyways, they go on this date and it started off very pleasant, but then Chris was starting to get really cold with her. He was just saying, oh, I don't like your attitude. I don't like that you are very bossy. I don't like that sometimes you disrespect me. I don't like that you talk over me. I don't like that you're trying to, like, it was just thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And mind you, I criticize Huda's behavior a lot. But even in this moment, I was feeling for her. I was like, oh my gosh. It's like she was being pummeled. Like, she was being pummeled by Chris in this moment. And I'm like, goodness gracious. This is why it's important to talk about these things beforehand, because now it kind of feels like an ambush, to be honest with you. They have tried to talk about things before, but I think they should have focused on resolving that thing instead of just pushing it under the rug and then trying to address it at another time. Because by the time the next thing comes, you're already still trying to deal with the first thing. So anyways, Chris is like, listen, I already feel like I know where your head is at, but you tell me what you want to do because I still want to pursue things. Why? What would be the benefit of pursuing things after so much back and forth, so much just, have you guys seen the edits of Chris and Jeremiah dealing with Huda? They started off their journeys being so happy, so excited, filled with glee. And after dealing with Huda, they looked like shell of men. They looked so drained and exhausted. And I'm just like, why do you want to pursue things further? But anyways, he puts the ball in her court and she decides, you know what, let's just be friends. But in our friendship, are we able to be cordial? And basically he's just like, yeah, I don't really see myself hanging out with you. I'm not going to be rude or anything, but I don't see myself trying to kick it with you in the villa. And I'm like, damn. This is why the whole, like, let's be friends thing is just a waste of time. Oftentimes it's just a way to not hurt the person's feelings. But if we're not going to be genuine friends, which is hard to do after you have been sexual or you have been trying to pursue something romantic, let's just cut ties completely. I don't believe in the whole let's be friends thing. I have said it before. Hand to God. I have said it, I think, twice before. Yeah. I don't believe in it. I'm not even friends with those men anyways. And I also don't believe in closure. I don't. At least, hold on. I don't believe in a closure conversation. Oh, I just want one last time to really say how I feel. Why? Why? You know it's over. They know it's over. It's over. Unless there wasn't like a clear, we're done, then I can understand wanting to say, hey, by the way, we are done. To me, that is where the closure ends. Not, oh, well, let me tell you how you hurt my feelings and let me just explain why? Waste of time. Let's be friends. Closure, waste of time. So anyways, they get back to the villa. It is so awkward because of course the questions are, oh my gosh, how was the date? How was the date? Yeah, they're no longer even friends at this point. The man didn't even want to sleep in the bed with her. He went to soul ties. And Huda was confused because she was like, we didn't even end on bad terms. Baby girl, the man has been resenting you this whole time. You know that trend where it's like when the boyfriend starts to hate his girlfriend? That is the energy that Chris was giving for the past like 2 weeks. The bliss ended a long time ago. He had a plan. He just needed a platform. Okay. And Huda gave him the platform and he was like, cool, we're done. At the date too, he didn't even like walk her through the puddle. He didn't like nothing. Not a puddle. Where were they in? A lake, a stream or something. He didn't walk her through the water. He just like left her there. She had to take off her heels. She wanted him to carry her. And I was like, okay, girl, you're pushing it. But yeah, it would have been nice for him to be a little friendlier. He was just very cold. And I didn't like that from Chris. But anyways, the last date was between Amaya and Bryan. It was, this is my kind of date. Something sexy, something low key, candles, little fire sparkling stuff. And then they went through photo albums of them as kids and talking about the different memories that they shared with their family and stuff. It was so cute, so precious. It was at this moment that I could tell who the winners were going to be. But yeah, it was nice to see her get emotional and for her to even say, you're the only person who I've been with where my tears are not tears of sadness. You guys, that is so true. With Ace, she cried because of sadness. With Austin, she cried because of sadness. With the Thai guy, she cried because of sadness. And with Bryan, it has only been tears of joy, only been tears of gratitude, only been tears of just like, I'm so overwhelmed by how happy I am. Like, I'm so happy for Amaya. I really, 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 really hope that Bryan is genuine. I think for me, the reasons why I do question him is a lot of people have been pointing out Bryan's body language, and he does give very nonchalant, cool guy, chill guy. And at first it didn't bother me, but I think as time is going on, I wish that he would be a little bit more, like lean into her as well. She's always leaning into him. And it kind of just makes me feel like she's definitely going to be more invested than he is. Maybe he is somebody who just likes to do things on his own time, on the low as well. Like being on TV is not for everybody. He seems to be doing fine. So that's why I don't think that it's that would be the reason. But maybe when they are on their own, he'll be able to be more affectionate because he's not being perceived. But yeah, I love how Bryan has been that turnaround for Amaya. She needed it. She needed it. Whether or not she was going to be like America's favorite, just seeing the journey she had been on, I wanted her to have a win. And she got the ultimate win. But like, I wanted her to have a win. It was just thing after thing after thing after thing with Amaya. And she never sulked about it. That is one thing I really do appreciate about Amaya. She never was like, oh, woe is me. Men don't like me. What am I supposed to do? Oh my gosh, everybody hates me, whatever. Like, she didn't victimize herself, in my opinion. And for her to still like hold her head high, I get why the guy DM'd me saying, I want a person who relates to Amaya. Like, I totally get it. I wholeheartedly get it. Like, even when she had acted out of line, like when she cursed out that guy, she went and she apologized. She said, that's not me. I don't ever want to show up in that way. And for that, I am sorry. I don't know if she was told to say that, but it felt very genuine to me. Amaya, the woman that you are, I am so glad to see all these brands like being so excited to want to work with Amaya and stuff. I want so much for this girl. And I think that she is going to get that. After they were preparing for the final like declarations of love or whatever, let me just do like a quick little fashion critiquing. Dresses that I loved, Huda's and Olandria's. I loved Olandria's, like the intricacy of it all, like the shape, just accentuating the shape that she already got. It was just, it was so good. She was matching with Nick. I wasn't too fan. I've never been a fan of that design. Because even Ian was like, oh, sorry, grandma, Nick stole your curtains to make his suit. Like it just doesn't hit. But the other dress that I liked was Huda's. First of all, we already know that woman's body is tea, but her body in that dress. Oh, Huda, like I said from the beginning, well, I don't know if I want lessons anymore, but if I was to look to anybody to get my body right, it would be Huda. That body is banging. She looked so good in that dress. Amaya's dress, I didn't really like it much. And pink is my favorite. Pink is my favorite. Oh my God, pink is everywhere. Pink is my favorite color. I wasn't really a fan of the dress. And then Iris's dress, it didn't really do it for me too much, but they all looked nice. The guys looked nice as well. It's really hard for guys to really stand out in their suits because they're quite standard, to be honest. But during the declarations, we basically had Iris and Pepe say that they're happy. They had a friends to lovers journey. They're excited to see what life is going to be like on the outside. Do I see potential for these two? Like I said, if they can resolve their connections on the outside, then maybe. He is really gentle with her, but Pepe is just gentle in general. I think that he's a lover boy, and he loves to show up in that way for people. Yeah, he's very chivalrous. He's very kind. It's hard to tell if it's going to be there for him and Iris just because Pepe shows up really well. He shows up so well. Yeah. Then we had Amaya and Bryan. They also were talking about the whole friends to lovers thing. She appreciates how he has been so great towards her. He says that she is not only his safe space, but also his peace. And it's interesting too, because when you think of Amaya, I'll be honest, the first thing I think of is not peace. Okay. They mention her having the zoomies a lot. Like, that's what I think about. She's very out there, very outgoing, very on 10 a lot of the time. And so for him to be like, you are still my peace though. You are my safe space. Bryan, do right by my girl Amaya, please. I'm begging you. Did I say that they were exclusive? Yeah, I forgot to say that. They are the only exclusive couple on the season. He made it exclusive on their date. Of course, she agreed. Yeah. So they're the only ones who didn't fall into the trap of being exclusive on season 7. Then we had Huda and Chris. They kept it cute. They kept it real cute. Chris was no longer as cold and callous as he was the day before. I feel like somebody spoke to him about that. But anyways, he was basically affirming how she is as a woman. Like, she's very kind to people. She's very outgoing. She's outspoken. She stands for her principles. She's a great mother. And he got to see a taste of that during the baby challenge. He hopes that she experiences, something great in the future, even though things didn't work out for them. Like, he did really, really well. I wonder if they were actually in a good place, what would he have written? Because on a friendship tip, that was amazing. That was better than what he said when they were doing their whole gratitude thing around the Thanksgiving table. And he was like, I'm grateful for what was it? Was it getting to play basketball? Oh no, his peak of the season, was getting to play basketball and then seeing his mom and sister. And then he had a moment where he was like, oh, is there anything else? No, that's it. Like, he didn't mention Huda at all. I don't think he was the only person who didn't mention his partner, but you could tell, like, Huda has been falling behind in his mind from time. So to see him do a 180 and to affirm her in such a beautiful way, I actually appreciated it. Huda said that Chris taught her how to be a better person. And he taught her, what a real man looks like. You know what? That's up to you. If you think Chris is the real man that you have always been looking for, I hope that you find that. Yeah, I hope that you do. She also says that she's learning that she shouldn't just dive into physicality when it comes to being romantic with somebody. Clearly that hasn't worked for her 2 times over. And also that looks aren't everything. And I hope too that, because she has said that her type is just pretty boys. Not to say that you go for somebody who you're not attracted to, but like, test the waters, try something different. I hope that this doesn't get taken the wrong way, but when I first saw my boyfriend, I'll be honest with you, he wasn't my type. Not to say the boy was not cute. The boy is cute. And I think that was the problem. Like, I looked at him and I was like, oh, he would not like me. Please be so for real. But he doesn't play about me. Like, guys, I love him so much. But he wasn't my type. And if I was in a room full of people and my type was there and he was there, I would have gone for my type. but I'm in this situation now because my type hasn't worked out. And so experimenting with something different actually led me to something great and beautiful. So yeah, Huda, maybe try something different. You know, it ain't have to be the same kind of guy all the time. And you can approach dating differently. Everybody now knows you have a kid. There's no way you can hide it going forward. Everybody also now knows that it's sometimes touch and go regarding her temper. And so I think this is an opportunity to like start fresh, to learn from your experience, to watch back and reflect. Okay. I hope that she comes to the reunion with some accountability. I know that's asking for a lot, but this is a golden opportunity for Huda if she plays it correctly. She has enough of a following behind her to not feel like she's, you know, the worst person on planet Earth. But there are a lot of people who had criticism. I'm also one of them. Not that she's looking for my criticism anyways. Like if it comes across her desk that people are critical of her, I think that this is a moment where she could just take that in and reflect on her own behavior and then find her own way of moving forward. If in fact she wants to move forward, which I believe that she does. She has mentioned a lot of the time that she has been growing. So I do see that there is a desire to show up better. That was a long tangent. I'm so sorry. And then last was Nick and Olandria. They also love the fact that they have gone on a friends to lovers journey. I was skeptical at the beginning and then I was on board and then I was kind of like off board a little bit. But after this episode, I was fully on board, seeing the little moments that they've had together that we don't even get to see much of. I got to see them because of TikTok. I was like, oh my gosh. This man does not play about Olandria. Sometimes you will see like a little clip of him being in the makeup room with her. We didn't really get to see it much on the show. Like literally the TikTokers had to put it together. We also see moments where she'll be wearing his jackets, but we didn't see him give it to her. She's just wearing it. Moments where they'll be in the confessional. He has makeup on his face. Like they are really, really connecting, really, really getting comfortable with each other in a romantic sense. So I do believe in it more. They both share how having their family support has been really beneficial for them. And because of that, they want to see this out. They want to see if romance can continue to develop on the outside. My question to you guys is, if the family wasn't in support, or if they, I don't know if we would get that answer though from the show. If they had an inkling that the fans or their family thought that their connection was forced, do you think Nick and Olandria would have kept going? Because I think at first they were trying it out just because they had no other option. Like they were in the villa together, coupled up. This is post Casa. And so why not give it a try? But if people were raising questions, do you think they would have still been like, well, we do have a good foundation. Let's see where things go. Or they've just shut it down. Like, oh, people don't see it for us, so we just don't see it for each other. That's the question that I have. I feel like without the backing of friends and family, they would have deaded it. I do. So anyways, we're going to get to the result. Last place was Iris and Pepe. I'm a little bit confused because if Iris and Pepe were going to be in last place, how close were they to Shelly and Ace in the vote? I'm thinking that 1 week really did a number on Shelly's ranking. Like, dang, it tanked her bad. And obviously being attached with Ace wasn't that great because people were getting very irritated with him. I am one of them. So yeah, Iris and Pepe, they were in 4th place. 3rd place was Huda and Chris. I'm all right with that. Number 1, they're not even a couple anymore, so I did not want them to win just on that alone. But before that, I have a problem with awarding a story like Huda's. I'm just going to be honest. And I feel the same way about Ace. I don't want to award somebody who's just been a tyrant in the villa. And I don't want to award somebody who has been super strategic and feels like they can just play the game. I understand that we got a lot more genuine moments from Ace and from Huda. But for what I look for on Love Island, it wouldn't have been their journeys. That's me personally. You're free to disagree. It doesn't have to be a fight. 2nd place was Olandria and Nick. They were just happy to be in the final, to be honest with you. And first place was Amaya and Bryan. Amaya is running around the villa. She is so excited. Basically, she has this emotional moment where she's talking about not settling for anybody and that people out there should see that there is somebody who's going to embrace you wholeheartedly. And that's really what it is. I feel like right now, we're kind of having a shift in the dating field. And I love that for us, because it has felt for the longest time that people are just settling for the best, or what they feel like is the best of a bad situation, instead of waiting for somebody who is good for them. You know, like, oh, well, he doesn't curse me out, so I guess we'll just make it work. Like, no, you can expect more from a partner. You can receive more from a partner than just the bare minimum, just the best of a bad bunch. You know what I'm saying? So to see Amaya have that experience of like bad after bad after bad, and then finally having something good, to hear her affirm other people that you could be weird, you could be quirky, you can be different, and there'll be somebody who come and says, I want all of that. Guys, I loved it. It was great. It was a good way to button up the season, because like I said, I was tired. I was drained by this season. If I would change anything, I'm tired of them bringing influencers, to be honest with you. I feel like that's when UK started to deplete too. Like the viewership started to deplete, was when they kept bringing influencers. They're used to being perceived, and so they're going to show up a certain way. I feel like people like Sierra, Ace, no, I actually can't put Huda in that. Sierra, Ace, Shelly by extension of Ace. I don't think this would have been her story if she was attached to somebody else. Who else seemed quite calculated to me? There were more people I just can't think right now. Oh, what's his name? I keep forgetting his name. The Thai guy from the UK. Him too. They moved on the show like brands. And I struggled to connect with them because I wanted authenticity, and they were just showing up like a brand because they have a following. They actually have things to lose if this doesn't work out for them. You know what I'm saying? And they also see the potential that could come from being on the show. This is a business opportunity for a lot of people. And it's not to say that that's not going to be prevalent with people who aren't influencers, but at least you'll get people who are just starting from scratch, you know, like, hey, I came here for love. Like, you never know what could come out of this, rather than coming and seeing this as solely a business opportunity. And then if you fall in love along the way, it's like, oh, bonus, cool. Never thought that would happen. Another thing I would change is the way that the voting works. If you're going to give the public the power, leave the power in the public's hands. Why are you then turning it over to the Islanders, who clearly don't know what's best for them? Like, let us vote. And also, it'll put some fire under the voters' butts, because some people are like, what? I didn't expect my person to leave. I didn't vote for them because I thought they were safe. Next time, vote. And also, that could be a double agenda to also teach people in society that when you want change, you're going to have to vote. You're going to have to do your civic duty to make sure that your voice is heard, to make sure that change happens. I feel like it's mutually beneficial. You know what I'm saying? Anything else? What else would I change? Nothing. I feel like diversity was there this season. Absolutely. Bring back unseen bits and make it interesting. Make it fun. And have a live audience for After Sun. That's what I like about After Sun in the UK. Number one, it's actually live. And number two, there's a live audience. You can feel like a different energy in there. You bring in people's family, you get their opinions. We get to see clips for the episode to come. Like it's a whole different experience. After Sun in the US is just, it's boring. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And then they completely took away unseen bits. Yeah, that's all. Those are the things that I would change. You guys let me know your thoughts on season 7. The spinoff Beyond the Villa has begun, and I will be covering it here on the Reality Recap, so stay tuned for that. And we heard that the reunion for season 7 is going to be in August. I forget the date, but I will be covering it. And then Love Island Games comes in September. I feel like I've been lied to. Am I the only one who thought Love Island Games was supposed to be earlier on in the year? Did I make that up? Am I tripping? Is it me? Oh, maybe it's me. But anyways, that's coming and I'm so excited for that. In the meantime, other shows like The Perfect Match season 3 will be coming as well. Love is Blind, I think, is in October. The Ultimatum, Queer Love has been going on. I haven't had time to watch that at all. But there are shows going on. So you guys let me know what you want us to cover. Definitely going to keep up with Love Island. You can DM me. you can either DM me or DM the reality recap. If there are like things going on, like different interviews that you want me to touch on, I can watch them and I can give you guys the rundown on that. Yeah, that's it. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next Tuesday for another podcast episode. Bye-bye.